Hello, Sarah and Aaron. Welcome to the Vendor Confessional.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
We're excited to be here.
What do you guys do?
So we do wedding dress preservation. We also clean the dress before we preserve it, but we usually just go by wedding dress preservation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How did you guys get into that?
Well,
so
it was, we got married in 2018, and we were in Southern California, and right around, I don't know, like probably a month or two before our wedding, Sarah's like, "Well, I got to get my dress preserved after the wedding," and I had never even heard of that as a thing, and so then when she eventually got it preserved, um, I just found it was interesting the
Mm.
way that kind of it was presented, the way that business kind of did everything. And then when we moved up here 19, the owner from California, she reached out to us and said, "Hey, I might be wanting to expand. Would you guys want to do preservation in Idaho?"
Yeah.
And like she had known that Sarah was really into like the wedding industry and just
Yeah.
kind of had a passion for that. And had been in sales and done a bunch of business kind of stuff. And so, it might just be a good fit.
Yeah.
And so we started that in end of
Was-
2020.
yeah.
And so
Then
yeah.
it really took off shortly after. By 2021, we were just like busy.
Yeah.
Very
so,
fast.
So we were running a company called Idaho Gown Preservation,
Okay.
and then ran that for 3 years and stepped away because we had our daughter, and so she's
Oh.
18 months now. And then about, I don't know, at the beginning of this year, we just felt like God had kind of called us to maybe pick things up again, and so we started Sarah's Gown Preservation,
Mhm.
and here we are.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
I didn't remember hearing about anything local as far as gown preservation until you guys, because I feel like everything was, maybe I'm just oblivious, but I felt like everything you had to like ship it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is still the way that a lot of brides still preserve their dress. It's the wedding gown preservation company that does that. But that's kind of an unfortunate thing because when you ship off your dress, you don't really know what's happening to it. And there's a lot of issues that have come up with preserving the dress that way. So that's even more reason why we felt like it was really important to have something local where you can meet with brides face to face. They hand you their dress and they feel like they can trust you because they've gotten to know you, and we get to go through the whole process with them in person at the drop-off appointment of what it all entails. And they just feel a lot more comfortable leaving something so meaningful and also expensive.
Yeah.
Because wedding dresses are pricey in your hands, being able to just leave it with you in person after talking with you.
I think that's really important. And I think like just a huge part of like the Idaho mindset is like buy local.
Yes.
And so I think that's even more important that there is somebody here to be able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. How do you guys, I guess, do you guys approach gown preservation differently than what you were doing before? Or
Yeah, so I would say in general we approach gown preservation differently than most other gown preservation companies. There's like the cardboard box method, which is really well known, but it's also the most outdated method. Unfortunately, it's still being used, especially by dry cleaners or brides, again, just sending off their dress to that company. So what we actually do is provide museum quality preservation, which is we follow the same process and method and use the same materials that museums have used for centuries. And because the materials that we use, they really protect your dress. They don't damage your dress like the cardboard boxes. They don't cause discoloration or yellowing like the cardboard boxes. So we have like a very thorough process and very different materials than normal gown preservation. And that just shows like how far gown preservation has come in all these years, because they've realized all the damage that is being done by those cardboard boxes and that the way that museums do it is the most reputable way to preserve your dress and really protect it for years to come. So
that is interesting. I didn't know that they were still using cardboard boxes.
yeah.
I feel like that's so lame.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you spent like thousands of dollars, or like probably thousands of dollars on your dress.
Yeah.
And then you're just going to put it in a shipping box.
Yep.
Like,
Yep. Yeah.
And there's also, I mean, a lot of these boxes too, they have that viewing window. And it's aesthetically, you're like, oh, I get to see my dress.
It looks nice.
But what happens is like the only way you get kind of a plastic viewing window onto cardboard is by gluing it.
Mm-hmm.
And so then you have this
Oh.
glue that, depending on the environment of your dress, that glue can cause this kind of gas that can eventually
Oh.
seep into your dress and cause discoloration.
And the
And there's just a lot
yellowing.
of issues, from that. And then also we've had, unfortunately, brides who have, done that cardboard box method,
Yeah.
and then eventually wanted to open it or something like that and realized that maybe they only cleaned the front part of the dress or they didn't clean the whole entire dress because they're just boxing it up and they know you're not
Yeah.
going to open it. Because a lot of those companies too that use the cardboard boxes, if you open it at all, it voids the warranty.
So they really don't want you to
So
open
they
it.
don't want you to warrant it. They kind of
Yeah.
force you not to open it. And so,
But that becomes, that becomes really problematic because you don't know what is going on with your dress the whole
Yeah.
time. You think, oh, it's good. It's preserved. It's
Right.
been cleaned. But like he's saying, it's a lot of time it's been spot treated. It's not, they haven't even cleaned the entire dress. And then brides down the road see all this yellowing happening inside that viewing window on their dress. And they're like, where is this coming from? What's happening?
Yeah.
But also the cardboard itself is just not in good environment for the dress because it breaks down over time.
Yeah.
Even the second it hits water, like it can start to crumble really fast.
Tell me about your process.
Okay, so we use museum quality materials. We clean the dress first. We have an amazing partner cleaner that we work with. And then when we get it back, we preserve the dress ourselves. We line the inside of the box with muslin, which protects the dress from light, humidity, and dust. And then we also line it with archival tissue, which absorbs anything that tries to get near the dress, especially any acid. And then once we preserve the dress, which we do by putting that archival tissue in between every single layer of the dress, we then place the dress inside the box. And then we close it up with that archival tissue and the muslin. And then on the outside of the box, which by the way is a polypropylene material, it's like a very thick, sturdy plastic. It's really pretty. Once we close up the box, on the outside, we have a muslin cover that goes on the outside to really protect the dress. And then we have a nice touch that we get to add to those covers. We actually have embroidery that gets to be customized by each bride, and they get to select their thread color, their font style, and then what they want it to say. Most brides do their wedding or their first and last name and then their wedding date. And a lot of them just seem to really love that personal touch. So that's kind of our process. And those are the materials that we use.
That's awesome. It sounds like very thorough. And I love the special detail of the name and everything because I feel like that's much more elevated than just like the plastic viewing window.
Yes.
Because you're not just gonna, like you said, like you're just gonna look at it, but then
you don't know what's going on
Yeah.
inside. Yeah.
When we recommend, opening the box, every year or couple years or whatever, like it's good for some of these textiles to get some air. It's not necessarily good for them to be stuck, in a box, creating that humid environment. Like anything you have that's closed for that long is going to create humidity.
Yeah.
And
Moisture
especially if there is a clear, it's like a greenhouse. If you have a window,
Yeah.
of that the heat comes in there, it creates moisture.
Yeah.
You don't want that.
Well, and back on the cardboard thing, I just thought about what about the smell? Like, because cardboard is very
Porous.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And so depending on where it's at, it could make the dress smell stale, I think.
Yes. Well, and that's part of our education for brides too, is telling them when they pick up their dress, we talk to them and walk them through how to store it properly because often people don't store it properly. It ends up in a basement or an attic, which is the worst place you could put it, or even underneath their bed. So we actually recommend for brides to put it in their closet on a shelf if possible, if they have the room for it. And again, just to go back to opening it up every couple of years, just check on it, make sure it's okay. And that's also the great thing about our box is you can actually open it up and access your dress anytime you like. You can look at it, you can cry over it. And just remember your wedding day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important because, like you said, with the plastic or the cardboard, it just voids the warranty.
Yep.
And then what's the point?
Yep, exactly.
What would you say is a common misconception couples have about gown preservation?
I would say a lot of couples and brides in particular think that cleaning their dress is good enough. But in reality, that only buys you time and it's a little bit of time. So yes, we want your dress to be clean. That's actually half of the preservation process itself the dress needs to be cleaned first so that it can be free from any stains, all the dirt, all the soil, any stains on the dress, even those invisible to the eye at first can be lifted. But then it's just as equally important to preserve it. So cleaning your dress only gives you a little bit of time, but it will still the fabric on a wedding dress can continue to break down and yellow, especially if it's sitting in the closet and it's just being exposed to air all the time, and especially being white.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just singing, "Hey, I can clean it and I'll be good to go." That's just not the case. Or just that it's I don't know, kind of like I thought before she got her dress preserved, like, why? Like, why do I
Mhm.
need to do this? And there are just so many things that I think, don't I mean, you don't know where you're going to be in 20, 30, 40 years
Yeah.
with
Mm.
your dress. And I think having the option to do something with it, many people use it for different things, down the road.
Mhm.
We've seen people take pieces of the dress and use it to wrap around like a bouquet. And
Oh.
that's like the something old,
Mm.
from your wedding. Sometimes daughters will wear the dress, or just pieces of the dress or something like that. But obviously, if it's ruined and it smells bad or something,
Yeah.
um,
You
you
can't
can't do
use
that.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So keeping your options open, I think, is good, and it also has, we try to give it the best presentation possible too.
If a bride is on the fence about getting her gown preserved, what would you say?
I would say do it because it's going to be so much more important down the road. We've had brides that have waited too long, 6, 10, 15 years or longer even. And by that point, their dress is too damaged. A lot of the stains on it cannot be undone or be taken out. And so they may not be thinking about it right after the wedding, but that's actually the most important time to be thinking about it, if not before the wedding, actually. Throughout your wedding planning process, it's important to be thinking about wedding dress preservation and what you want to do with your dress afterwards. Because a lot of time brides forget about it. They just stuff it in a closet and they don't think about it for a long time. And then down the road, it's like, oh my gosh, my dress is damaged. What do I do with this? And it's too
Mm.
late by then.
What point, like, is the cutoff? Like, you said, like, 6 years, 15, or like.
There's really not like a cutoff, I would say. I mean,
Yeah.
we've preserved, cleaned and preserved dresses from what, 1920, 30.
Yeah.
Oh.
1925
Yeah, and
was
so
our
they're like,
oldest
"Oh, I
one.
found this in the attic. Can you
Yeah.
clean it and preserve it?" It's my grandma's,
Yeah.
from, yeah, and so we've done those, and a lot of the stains have come out, or we've been
Mhm.
able to revive it in a lot of ways. But it's just like, if you get a red wine stain on your
Mm.
pants today, and you go spot it out, and you throw it in the wash machine tomorrow, you're probably gonna be fine.
Yeah.
If you wait 2 weeks, there's probably gonna be some pink there for
Yeah.
and so it's little things like that. Like, we want to get at it as soon as possible, but like you said, with our partner cleaner, there's some stains that he's been able to get out that we certainly didn't know he could. I think one of the standout ones in my memory is, a bride that they had walked through like a blacktop that had recently been tarred.
Oh,
And
no.
so, like, the whole bottom 2, 3, 4 inches was like black and sticky and hard,
Mhm.
and he got it like 90% out.
That's
Yeah.
incredible.
And so,
Yeah.
that was amazing. But we have plenty of, here in Idaho, outdoor weddings, or
Yeah.
where they walk through the woods or the river or whatever,
Mhm.
and getting those things out, I think, earlier rather than later is really important.
Yeah.
A question I did think of that I didn't prepare you
Yeah.
guys for. What about if the bride jumps in the pool with her dress on? Like, is that.
We've had brides do that.
Yeah?
And we've also had brides in that exact same situation do that, try to clean their dress themselves, and it actually makes it worse.
Oh,
So I always
okay.
tell brides, don't try to attempt cleaning it yourself because
Yeah.
you don't know what to use. You don't know how to treat it properly. That's why we have a cleaner that does it a certain way.
It's
Yeah.
also why it's so important. What Sarah does is, when she goes and takes dresses, to our partner cleaner, she personally, or like, she walks through in every single dress
Mhm.
individually and talks through, and they look through all the dresses and say, "Hey, this one has champagne. This one, they jumped in
Mm.
a pool. This one
Mhm.
has these few things." Because if you just drop it off, at a dry cleaner or something and hope it gets cleaned the right way, um, I mean, there's so much more, specifics and minutia that needs to be considered,
Mm.
because the way that you treat a champagne stain and a
Mhm.
sugar stain and a red wine stain and a tar stain are
Mhm.
different. And
Mhm.
so he'll take all those things into account and make sure he's treating that dress the right way based on, what kind of information he's gotten from Sarah.
Yeah. And just to piggyback on that a little bit, um, this is kind of like another issue within our specific niche is that a lot of dry cleaners will say they know how to clean wedding dresses, and brides will trust them on that and take their word for it because maybe they have cleaned wedding dresses or they do it all the time, but actually they don't. They don't know how to treat them properly. They don't have the correct process of cleaning a wedding dress. And so we've actually had a lot of horror stories. Brides have even came to us and say, "Hey, I had this cleaned and they destroyed my dress. They made it worse. And there's even like parts of my dress missing." And so that like breaks my heart when I hear that because it could have prevented had they come to us. And there's a reason that we have the partner cleaner that we do. We vetted them. We vetted all the cleaners in the Treasure Valley before we started this. That was so crucial to us starting this business, was having someone who really knew what they were doing, especially with something so sentimental and, again, expensive. So wedding dresses are an investment, and we don't want to just hand them over to anybody and think, oh yeah, they can clean it.
Yeah.
So
And some will clean it, but just charge crazy amounts of money.
yeah.
Just because they know,
It's a wedding dress.
yeah, they know the sentimental tie you have to it, and
Yeah.
so that's kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some that actually don't even clean it. They'll say they did, but they call it like it's like a air dusting or like an airbrush type
Yeah, they'll
of.
kind of air it out.
They'll kind of
and
air
get
it
rid of
out.
some dirt, and then just move on.
Oh
Yeah,
my
not
God.
actually treating the dress and
Yeah.
cleaning it properly. They're just using air. Yeah,
That's insane.
things that people don't know.
Yeah. What is one of the craziest like requests that you guys have had to preserve a gown? Like what I'm thinking is I saw this Pinterest picture. This lady had her dress like preserved in like a frame and like
Yeah.
put it in her wall.
hmm
Have you had anything like that?
We do have some people that say, I envision this shadow box on my wall with this
Yes.
gorgeous ball gown. And I mean, first off, if you try to get those done, there are some companies that do that. They typically cost between like $5,000 and $10,000
Yeah,
because
they're
you have
really
to have a custom
expensive.
frame and all these things. And then kind of like we were talking about with the greenhouse, that's essentially what you just put your dress into. So it's unlikely that you're gonna have this awesome shadow box not in a place where there's light. Like you want to see it, right?
Right.
And so it's gonna have the light shine off the glitter or whatever
Yeah.
it is. And you just created a greenhouse effect right in your
Yeah.
dress, and that you probably can't now get out
Yeah.
because it's in there. And it's
Yeah.
on your wall, and so it's not the best environment for your dress.
Yeah,
Actually.
it actually damages your dress, just
Yeah.
like the cardboard box. And
Yeah.
yellowing can still happen. Yeah, we get a lot of requests for those, and people don't realize also how expensive they are,
Yeah.
and that they're not a good environment for the dress.
Yeah. Once you say it's
Yeah.
usually 5 to 10K, we could recommend a place that does it. They're like,
Oh, just kidding.
no.
And not only not
Yeah.
only that, you have to have the space for it, like a
Yeah.
big, large wall. And
Yeah.
a lot of people don't. So
Well, and to
Yeah.
me, it's like I like the idea-ish of it, but I'm also like a very like not clutter person, and I feel like that's it's like a phase. Like you're not gonna want it on your wall forever. If
Yeah.
that makes sense. Like you're in the honeymoon phase, you want it there, but then like once you start having kids, you probably want pictures of your kids in that
Yes.
space or something
Yeah.
like that. But like it's in there.
Well,
Yeah.
you need a Kardashian-sized closet
Yeah.
to put it in.
yeah.
Okay, see, in a closet, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
The one I saw was like in a hallway, and
Yeah.
I'm like, get it? It's
Yeah.
cute. I like the
Yeah.
thought behind it. But then you said with the greenhouse effect,
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that, even though we were just talking about
Yeah.
it.
No, it has consequences too. And
Mhm.
unfortunately, it's just not a good environment for the dress. It
Yeah.
doesn't protect it like it's supposed to.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, have you had any other crazy requests?
I would say we've had families bring in like 10 to 15 dresses at a time to be preserved. Like all these women in their family have gotten married. They have never preserved their dress. And over time, they just have accumulated all these dresses. So we've had a couple clients that have brought in, like I said, literally 10 to 15 dresses and say, hey, these are all my sisters and my aunts, and we all need our dress done. And so that's kind of a crazy request. We definitely
Yeah.
need more time for those, but they're also kind of fun because you get to see all the different styles, just like all of our
Yeah.
dresses. You get to see so many styles and what's trendy, what's not.
Mhm.
And every dress has meaning. So they're all special to preserve. So
Yeah, that's really cool. If you weren't doing gown preservation, what do you think you'd be doing?
I would probably be a day of coordinator. That's actually what got me into the wedding industry before I preserved dresses. I used to assist somebody who was like the full-time wedding planner, and I was their assistant doing day of coordination. And I loved that. I thought it was so much fun, but I didn't want all the responsibility. So I liked being able to assist somebody.
Yeah.
So I would say I would do that, or just continue what I currently do, which is I'm a stay-at-home mom. So
Yeah. I mean, I'm a teacher. I
Yeah.
teach high school English. I do realty as well.
Kind of do a little bit of
I
everything.
coach baseball
Oh my
privately.
gosh.
So, and then I help preserve dresses.
Yeah.
Do all this kind of stuff too.
yeah,
Busy.
Yeah.
very busy.
What's one thing your clients would say about working with you?
I would say that we're both warm and friendly, and we educate brides throughout the whole process, and we have really strong communication. And we just try to make the process very easy and seamless. So that's what they say.
Which all the reviews that mentioned Sarah, well, all of them mentioned Sarah, say exactly that. She made it really easy. She, educated them on the process because, like we mentioned earlier, a lot of people are like, I think I want my gown preserved. I don't know really what that means.
Yeah.
And that was, I think, the kind of hurdle that was that we had to get over at the beginning of starting this 4 or 5 years ago, was just educating the community on what it is and why it's important. And then now it's been cool because what we've done, or what Sarah's done, is specifically through our relationships with bridal shops or with wedding planners or community in general, has made it so that now a lot more people just know that it is something that they need to get done and why it is important. And so there's less of that education that needs to happen now, but it's still a really important part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And hopefully this serves as a little bit more of an outreach
Yeah.
to educate
Absolutely.
people. Does your dream, or I guess what's like the prettiest dress that you've seen, or like your dream wedding dress that you've done?
Man, it's funny because seeing dresses now, there's a lot of them that I would choose to get married in if we were to do our wedding again. I loved my dress when I got married, but now that I see so many dresses, I'm like, there's so many beautiful ones to choose from, and my style has changed. I would say I like the more simple dresses that are very modern but elegant, very classy, only 1 to 2 layers. Mine was a couple layers on my wedding day, so I was very hot in it and sweating like crazy.
Yeah.
So if I could go back in time, I definitely would have chosen something more simple, just like a lot of the dresses I see now. And I would do some off the shoulder straps as well. Yeah.
I think that's really pretty. Have you ever had a funny or unexpected moment while preserving a dress?
Yes. I would say before we clean the dress, we inspect it, and I noticed on the bride's dress some blood. And as soon as I looked at it, she looked at me and she was a little embarrassed, but she said, okay, there was a dead mouse. The blood got on the dress from this dead mouse because they got married in a barn. And
I don't remember that.
Yep.
That's crazy.
What happened?
I didn't even know that.
But it was important for us to know because we had to tell our partner cleaner, hey, you have to treat this obviously in a different way.
Yeah.
And so that was helpful for them. But yeah, blood from a dead mouse.
Yeah. I mean, I was gonna say, I remember this one girl had some poop stains. And I guess maybe a little bit more of the story. I just remember her saying, like, because we sometimes inspect the dresses after the client leaves to make sure. She says, like, hey, make sure I tell the cleaner this, that, and the other. And she was like, yeah, they had a little bit of an accident during this the ceremony. And I mean, luckily there's enough
during the
layers.
ceremony.
I think it was you couldn't see it, but it was in there.
She had a very poofy ball gown dress, so you actually couldn't see it unless you looked close, but it definitely was all on the inside of the dress. And so, again, this is why we inspect the dresses to know what's really going on with them, and then we communicate that with our cleaner, and he takes a good look at it. So, yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Like, actually crazy. This is a little bit off of gown preservation, but what's your favorite wedding tradition?
Not the garter.
I know. I feel like that's kind of like on its way out.
Yes.
I don't know.
We didn't
do that.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to do that. My parents and my
Yeah. It's awkward.
It is.
But hey, to each his own.
Yeah.
But
I've definitely seen it at a wedding, and I'm just like,
that was not.
we're still doing that.
Yeah, we're still doing that.
I don't know. Do you have any favorite ones? I think it is hilarious when, like, either the groomsmen or the bridal
Party.
Or my bridal party,
Bridal
that's what I'm trying to say, does some sort of like ridiculous choreographed dance.
Yeah.
I would never do that. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah. I think it's definitely a fun guest experience.
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
totally.
for sure. It's entertainment, and everybody gets a laugh out of it, even if it's not good and even if it's awkward. You still laugh about it, So,
yeah.
Tradition. You said tradition. I would say I love first looks. Some people don't like to do them because they want like the initial reaction with their spouse in front of everybody, which is fine too. But we did a first look at our wedding, and it actually helped take the edge off a little bit. So that way, when I did see him walking down the aisle, I wasn't as nervous. I was still nervous, but I wasn't as nervous. It removed a layer of that anxiety, if you will.
Yeah.
And then also I did a first look with my dad, and that was really special. And that was before our wedding too. And so I think first looks are just a really fun but very special tradition because it's just you and that person. And it's, yeah.
I feel like it's a lot more intimate and you can actually like
Yes.
remember seeing the person, if that makes
Yes.
sense. Because like doing the traditional way, I feel like I would be so nervous because we didn't do anything traditional. Like
Yeah.
we walked into the ceremony together, but like walking up and like seeing everybody and then just I would feel panic.
Yeah.
And just like, I need to get to the end, not like remembering the moment and
Yeah.
remembering that person and seeing how they looked at you the first time. Like, yes, you'll have
Yeah.
photos, but I don't feel like I mean, me personally, my personality type would remember
Yeah.
something like that.
Totally. Yeah.
Blink it out and get to the end.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite first dance song or moment that you?
I mean, I would say it's our wedding song, which is
You Are the Best Thing.
You Are the Best
by
Thing.
Raymond Montagna, I believe, or
Yeah, I think that's how you say his name. Every time it comes on, even now, we'll dance to it. And it's just, I love hearing that song. We play it all the time. Our kids even dance to it. It's just a really special, but also fun song. So I would say that's our favorite, or my favorite dance song.
That's sweet. What's something that you used to obsess over early in your career that you've now like completely let go of?
I think feeling that we have to chase down brides. I think we just feel very passionate about educating brides, especially about preservation, because we are such an afterthought. And that's something that will always be hard for us. We're always going to be an afterthought. And that's why we try to get out ahead and network with wedding planners and again, the bridal shops to have them help us educate brides on, hey, start thinking about dress preservation during the wedding planning process. So I feel like we used to chase down brides a lot. And again, it goes back to just feeling like we have to educate them, which we do still. But now I feel like we have so many brides that come to us and we're well known now. Our brand is a lot more recognized than it was years ago when we first started. And so I think we've let go of that feeling like we have to chase down brides and be like, hey, don't forget about us. It's taken a while to build what we have. And I think we've been successful because we've really nurtured a lot of the relationships in the industry. And we've also not been afraid to put ourselves out there and to share more about who we are.
What's a wedding trend that you're loving right now?
I'm loving that brides are not just preserving their dress and a veil. They're preserving accessories from their wedding day, whether it's jewelry, whether it's a handbag, whether it's even their vows or shoes, their wedding shoes. And that's the thing. So many don't know that you can preserve really anything with your dress. And so that's a current trend that I'm really liking because it just makes it that more meaningful when you're preserving something so special to somebody. And often it's not just their dress and their veil. It's those other items.
I wish I would have thought about that beforehand because I had these super cute little like cards that we wrote our vows on. They were like got them at like probably like a thrift store, like super unique, like cards. And our puppy ate them.
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, I mean, like, luckily we have it all on video. And I keep thinking about it because I'm like, I should make my husband and I rewrite those. Because, like, that is something special that I wish I would have taken the time to preserve before that happened. But yeah, it's something you don't think about until it's too late.
Totally. And you don't know sometimes. So brides ask us all the time, like, can I preserve other things with my dress? And we say, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and some preserve, I don't know, I think it's been more popular too to have like multiple dresses. I think Sarah probably wishes she had multiple dresses for our wedding day because it was like 98 degrees. And it was really, really hot. And so just having one for like, you know, the ceremony and one for kind of the party afterward, if you will. That's kind of a cool thing because a lot of them it'll be a little bit more casual or it'll be physically less dress for the dancing portion and that kind of portion than it is for the other ones. And it's not, I mean, it's nice for us. We get to preserve two dresses, but I think that's kind of a cool trend too.
Do you do it in the same box or?
Often we do, but it depends on how much volume each dress has.
Okay.
So the more volume and layers that a dress has, the bigger box it will need. So sometimes we're able to preserve two dresses together.
Yeah, most of the time, if it is a bigger dress and like a smaller dress, we can usually fit those in one box.
Yeah. We've also done suits too. So we don't just do wedding dresses. We do suits. We do quinceañera dresses. We do baby baptism outfits, military uniforms. I mean, it really can be any item of clothing that's special to somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I didn't even think about
Yeah.
suits or any of that.
Yeah.
I mean, suits are definitely less common
Mhm.
because if I bought my suit for my wedding, I'm probably gonna wear it again. But then again, if you bought a pretty like unique suit, or something like that, you're
Yeah.
not gonna wear like in a business meeting, like a white suit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we can preserve that, or we can preserve any of it, but those are more.
Yeah. And a lot of guys are renting suits now. So
Oh, yeah.
even dresses sometimes too. You can rent a dress. So
Yeah.
it just depends.
I
But
didn't know that.
yeah.
I feel like I knew that you could for photo shoots, but I didn't know that you could for the wedding.
Yeah. Some people do. And a lot of them are online now.
Oh, okay.
There actually did used to be a vendor in the industry that rented wedding dresses, but they're
It's
not
definitely
here.
more rare.
It's definitely more rare.
It's just harder to get the exact size that you
Mhm.
need, because if you're gonna rent it, like you can't just rent it and then go alter it.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so
And you
yeah.
don't want to wear clips all day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
so yeah.
And see them too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in photos. They would
Yeah.
show up in photos.
Do you have any advice for couples who want to make the most of gown preservation without breaking the budget?
Yes, I would say budgeting ahead of time, planning to put it in your budget for dress preservation after the wedding. That way it's not as big of a surprise when you get to that point and you're like, oh, what do I do with my dress? Oh, it costs how much to preserve it? And there are ways to, I would say also we offer like a payment plan. So we have brides do those sometimes, or they'll do like a less deposit up front. We're usually willing to work with the bride because it's really important for us to preserve their dress at the end of the day. So
Well, the
yeah.
turnaround time is anywhere from typically 4 to 6 weeks, sometimes 6 to 8 weeks if it gets a little bit busier. But during that, all that we need is for it to be paid by the time you pick it up. So some people will pay a little bit each week, or some at the beginning, some at the end, whatever.
Or extend their pickup date. Yeah.
Extend the pickup date. We also offer gift cards.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so a lot of times, instead of like, I don't know, getting to the honeymoon fund or something like that, it's nice to just be able to give something a little bit more tangible. So, you could give $100 or $50 or the whole package or whatever it is. And then that obviously that bride has that taken care of. It doesn't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
That's really thoughtful. I think the gifts that are the most important, like, yes, the honeymoon is fun. Like, yes, new appliances if you need it. But like
Yeah.
the gifts for me that mean the most are the ones that like, I don't want to pay for that. Like,
Yes,
Right?
totally.
Like, I really want that, don't want to pay for it.
yeah, like it's not, oh, sorry. It's not like a fun thing to buy. Like, of course, everybody wants to buy the fun things,
Yeah.
but this is like a necessity thing
Yes.
that is harder for, or like sometimes hard for people.
Yeah.
Without naming names, tell us about a vendor you'll never work with again and why.
So I wouldn't say it's a vendor. It's more of a bridal shop. We have tried to partner up with all the bridal shops in the Treasure Valley, and we've actually partnered up with about 90% of them. But there is one in particular that we would never work with because we feel like they didn't see the value in what we offered. They wanted to offer something different, like the cardboard box method, to their brides, which on one hand, totally fine. That's what they choose to do. That's okay. They're not for us.
Yeah, they were just more about the money and kickback that they were going to get than giving even the option, to their brides.
Yeah.
Like doing something like we do.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that was a little odd.
Yeah.
I thought,
Yeah.
because, we don't go in there saying that we need to be your exclusive
Yeah.
provider of, wedding dress preservation. We just like to educate, like you
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
And they were just not about it, wanted to make money
A different way.
a different way and
Yeah.
not give the option to their brides to do something like we do. So
Yeah. And I think that's why we've been successful with partnering the bridal shops that we do partner with, because they see the value in what we do, and they want to also, they're also taking care of their own brides by offering our service, because they get calls and ask, all the time, what should I do with my dress? Where should I take it? And so they recommend us because they know us, they trust us. And so, yeah, we've been able to just partner up with them because they get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they care about the bride and they care about the bride's dress.
I think that a huge thing in the industry is collaboration, 100%.
Yes.
But there still is that like underlying subsection that's like, no, we just are in it to make money.
Yes.
And to be honest, I don't know how they like consistently stay in business.
Yeah.
But I also, going off of that, I don't feel like people leave bad reviews all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
Like, they're just like, yeah, not my problem, move on.
Yeah.
But then, like, how many other people are going to get screwed
Mm.
because, like, you're all having the same experience, but nobody's talking about it.
Right.
So I think it's unfortunate, but
Yeah, it is unfortunate.
Well, and this is a small valley,
yeah.
you know, like
Especially in the wedding industry, everybody knows
everybody
each
knows
other.
everybody,
Yeah.
you know, and you really got to make sure, think that you just nurture those relationships.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons why, you know, we've been successful is because,
Mhm.
you know, Sarah does a great job nurturing those relationships and keeping people happy and loving on people and just serving, because I think that's what we're here to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it goes back to kind of what we talked about before. People want to support local, especially in Idaho, and especially small businesses. That goes a long way for us. And we feel the same way. We want to support the bridal shops. We want to support anybody in the wedding industry as much as we can. And it's just important to have those good relationships.
Yeah, well, that's why it's called Sarah's Gown Preservation, is because, you know, Sarah is the brand. You know,
Mhm.
she had made the relationships with all of the bridal shops and the seamstresses and the wedding, you know, coordinators and all that. You know, and like we said, we ran Idaho Gown Preservation for 3 years. So they have over 200 5-star reviews on Google, and every single one of them says her name. You know,
Aww.
and so when we opened up Sarah's Gown Preservation, it made sense because Sarah is the one who has done all of this stuff for the last several years, and we wanted to make a point of that it's the same Sarah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Still here, still me.
still me. Is there a couple that you still think about months or years later?
Yes. Sorry, still crying. There was a bride who lost her husband, and she had just had her son, and her son never got to meet her husband. And so preserving her dress was really meaningful. And I think about that all the time because I can't imagine being in that position. Being a parent myself and, having my husband and having kids, I just can't imagine um that happening. And then when she picked up her dress, this client, she just bawled. And it was really special and meaningful, but it was hard to see that reaction and to feel that. But it was also beautiful to feel that with her, that sadness, but also preserving something so meaningful to her. And she felt like it was a piece of him in that way by preserving her wedding dress. So, yeah, I always think about that bride.
I'm a sympathetic crier, so I also am about to cry
I couldn't even look at you. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to cry more if I look at her. So,
because I was
yeah. Yes, I saw it and I was like,
oh, okay.
We're both sympathetic criers.
But I was like, when you said that, I also had those same exact thoughts of like, I couldn't imagine losing my husband and then like having my son just not even know him, like, because I see
Yeah.
their relationship and it's so beautiful and truly it's like healed my inner child because like I didn't have the best relationship with my dad.
Yeah.
And so just like thinking all of the things while you're saying that, I'm just also bawling my eyes out.
Yeah. It's a hard thing.
It is. It is. But that's really special that you were able to preserve that for her
Yeah.
and like help her relive any like happy memories that she
Yeah.
had of her husband.
Absolutely.
You know, one of the coolest things that has come out of this is a couple of our best like couple friends have come from this business. You know, Sarah's preserved their gown. Like we have, you know, a couple good sets of friends that like she preserved their gown 4 years ago, and we still stay in touch and hang out and, you know, go to church together. Our kids are the same age, or I mean we're hanging out with one of the couples on Friday. And so I think that's been a cool thing to be able to just make those connections and build those relationships.
Mhm.
And yeah, I never thought that would come out of this for sure. But some
Yeah.
of our best friends were initially we just met because she preserved their dress.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And I think that it's a huge testament to like who you guys are as people and that like showing that you really care.
Mhm.
And I think that a lot of vendors too do really care, but
Mhm.
it's hard to foster those relationships,
Yeah.
like when you're prepping for a wedding versus like afterwards, like everybody's a little bit more lax. And
Yeah.
then it's also like they're trusting you with
Yeah.
the huge memory of their day. And
Yeah.
it's incredible.
Yeah.
What's your personal love language and how does it show through when you serve guests or brides? I don't know why I said guests.
I would say kind of what you just said, showing that we care. That's it's kind of that's
Well,
why
one, you're
we
just time.
yeah.
And I think that's something that you spend a lot of quality time, with these people. Like, I mean, even just the, it's usually a 30-minute initial consultation kind of in a drop off of someone's gown, but she never just gets right into the gown. Like, drop off your gown. Here's how you do it. Give me the money.
Yeah.
It's like she really gets to know them and wants to know them and wants to know all about their wedding day and let them relive it, I think, too, and spends a lot of that quality time.
Yeah, it's not a transaction for us or for me especially. I don't see it that way. I really see the person when they come in, and I ask every bride when they come in. The first question I ask them is, "How was your wedding day?" And it's really fun asking that question because I get to hear all about it, the good, the bad, the hard, the funny moments, and and they love to talk about it because who else are they talking about it with?
Well, it's the best day, hopefully.
Yeah. They might talk about it with their friends and their family, but they were all there on the wedding day. So and there definitely is a thing such as post-wedding blues. Like a lot of brides talk about that all the time, how much they miss their wedding day and they wish they could relive it all over again. So when they talk about it with me and I get excited with them and I hear all the things, like I can see their faces light up and they can see that I really do care because I do. I want to know the person. I want to know their story. I also want to know how they met their spouse, and I get to hear all of that when I ask that question. So
If you could give every couple one piece of advice, what would it be?
mine would be two things. One, stay true to your vision for your wedding day. It's nobody else's day except yours. I think we can get caught up a lot in our family or our friends and what they want for our wedding instead of staying true to our own vision and what we want and need. The second would be to plan ahead and budget ahead of time for your dress to be preserved after your wedding. And in that process, also book your appointment. You don't want to be forgetting about it later on. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I need to book an appointment. Especially during our busy season, we get so busy that we have to push brides out a couple months. And so the sooner they book their appointment, they can reserve their spot. Yeah. And yours would be?
Yeah, I would say, in general, like I think marital counseling is one of the greatest things you could possibly do.
Yeah.
It's an awesome investment, I think, into, your marriage. I think we get caught up so much in the wedding day and plan so much for the wedding day and not so much for the marriage, which is a lot of days.
The rest of your life.
Forever of days, and so I think that's super important. I mean, we did that and just found out so many more things. We knew each other pretty well, but find out more things because you have a third party asking you questions that maybe you just hadn't either asked each other or really thought too much about or really had a forum to discuss. And I think that's really important to make sure, values are aligned. And, there's so much, I don't know, in today's day and age, there's so much, focus, I think, on like, compatibility or, the sparks or whatever feeling stuff. But it's, do you have similar values? Are you going to choose each other every day? How are you going to do that? How are you going to, work through conflicts and difficult things like that? And do you have this similar kind of, I don't know, goal overall for your marriage and for your family? And, just getting on that same page, I think is really important. So,
yeah, I would agree.
Well, thank you guys so much for being on the podcast.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to leave them with? Anything upcoming, exciting?
We actually so we should have mentioned this actually. With every dress that we preserve, we actually donate a portion to an organization local that's called Faces of Hope. And they help survivors of abuse, and not just physical, but it can be financial, elder.
Yeah, or people working through it and kind of dealing with it at the moment.
Yeah.
And so, there's a location in Boise and in Meridian. And we just, we looked around for a lot of different places because we wanted to give back to this community that's given so much to us. And there was just so many things with Faces of Hope that just got us, what made us super emotional, but also just got us excited about being able to give back and help in that way because you don't realize how many people could be really, you think about like abuse and you think about like domestic violence
Mhm.
and like, somebody hitting someone or whatever, and that's the face of that.
Mhm.
But we just learned there's so many other aspects of that, whether, mental or psychological or spiritual or financial
Mhm.
or elderly or, whatever that people, I guess a way higher percentage than we ever expected are dealing with in this valley and
Mhm.
need those services here and ability to kind of either just be empowered or get away or start their lives anew. And so we want to be able to support some of those women and children specifically, but men as well and
Mhm.
elderly too, that yet sometimes are overlooked.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, so they actually also they have an upcoming fundraiser, and it's called Hope Week, and
Mm.
it's a big fundraiser for this organization called Faces of Hope. And so we're partnering with them, and we'll be promoting that on our social media so brides can look out for that, and if they want to donate to it or even just show up at any of the events that are being put on by Faces of Hope, they can do that, and we're really excited about it.
That is
Yeah.
exciting. Where can everybody find you on social media?
Sarah's Gown Preservation for Instagram. And then our website is sarahsgownpreservation.com.
Amazing. Well, thank you guys.